Hello my friends, welcome to my channel. My name is Ingrid and this is Ingrid Reads a Lot. I own a lot of books. A lot of books in my head. I know there are booktubers out there that own a lot more books than I do, but my goal is to only own books that I love. And for me to achieve that goal, I need to stop buying so many books. Therefore, I need to diminish my physical TBR. Thought of a good idea to do that. What I'm gonna do is unhaul or keep. It's a little game I'm gonna start playing with myself, which is I will gather 4 or 5 books, read the first chapter of those books to see if I want to keep going or if I want to unhaul the book. That's what we're going to do. Today, we are going to start that by doing Unhaul or Keep YA edition. These are the books that we're going to talk about today. That I'm going to read the first chapter of all these books and we're going to decide, am I unhauling or am I keeping these? I'm going to start with Legendborn. All I know about this book is that it has something to do with Arthurian legend, which I will be honest is not my favorite, but I got this with Book of the Month. And I also got this because when it first came out, well, a lot of people were talking about it and saying it was good, so I'm gonna read it and see if I like it. Well, I'm gonna read the first chapter. I'm back. I just read the first chapter in the prologue of Legendborn. I'm intrigued so far, I think. Prologue I read because it was kind of like too little to be anything of substance. We realize the main character is dealing with grief. Her mom has just died. This is set in our world. They're in North Carolina and the main character was accepted to the same college that her mom had attended in the past, but she had early acceptance, so I think she's still like 16, 17. So, and her mom didn't want her to go. That's all we know so far. And then her mom died. We skip ahead 6 months to where she's already at the college. And I think she starts seeing magic and she's still dealing with grief. So I'm intrigued. I want to know what's going on. She meets a bad boy. And yeah, that's how all books go, isn't it? Next up, I'm gonna read a chapter of House of Salt and Sorrow by Aaron A. Craig. This one is a book. Oh, pretty. I think this one I still had Owl Crate and I just never read it, but I have heard some really good things about this, so I'm excited to try this one. I honestly don't know anything about this. I think it has something to do with like a fairy tale, I think. I don't know. Alright, this one was super quick. It's only like 3 pages long. I liked the setting of this. It sounds very like maritime. And I think these people live by the water and so everything they do is like related to the sea. This family was a family of 12 girls, but now they're down to 4 because, I mean, they're down to 8 because 4 of them have already died. Annalie is one of the sisters and we are in her head while this is going on that they're burying her sister. Well, burying is the wrong term. They're like sending her body back to the sea. So we don't know if they're cursed. She does mention something about a curse here that the townspeople think they're cursed. I don't know. I don't think this like gripped me right from the get-go. I do like the setting, but we shall see. This one is also to do with the sea. This one is The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea by XCO. I don't really remember what this is about. I got it last year, but I think it has something to do with the main character being sacrificed to the sea. I think one girl gets sacrificed to the gods. We'll see. We'll see what the first chapter is. Let me see how long this is because I'm starving. Hello darlings, as you can see this is a different day, but I'm still doing the same video, but I gotta give you guys updates on the first chapters that I've read because my plan was to film everything the same day and read all the chapters the same day, but I had to leave the house so I couldn't do it. But here I am to catch you up. Scythe, I read the first chapter of this and holy mother of God, this is very dark for a YA book and I see why so many people love it. I mean, I don't know what the book entails yet, but the first chapter you're getting to know this world where these people are called Scythes and they're basically there to glean people. So I'm guessing that this world has gotten to a point in which no one dies and so people have elected these Scythes to kill people. So far we don't know how they decide. We just know that a Scythe shows up to Citra's house and I think she's a child at this point. She is very outspoken. She's like, if you're here to kill us, just do it. And the Scythe tells her, they find out, this is the first chapter so I feel like I'm not spoiling anything, but tells her that he's not there to kill their family. He's there to take one of the neighbors, but the neighbor wasn't home so he was hungry so he came over to their house. But we also find out a little bit more about the world because the Scythe grants their mother immunity. Yeah. I'm like oddly curious about this book, like very curious. But yeah, that's the update on this one. And then I didn't film anything, but I gotta give you an update on this one. And where's the other one? And The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea, but I can't find the book. What the heck did I do with it? I swear to God, I'm going crazy. What the heck is wrong with me? All right, Renegades. This is by Marissa Meyer. This is also a YA sort of dystopian novel, sci-fi novel. Also kind of dark in the beginning. Our main character, Nova, is home with her parents, and when her parents are viciously murdered, we find out that Nova has powers. She's able to put people to sleep. When the killer comes to take her life, she just drops him. She grabs his weapon, but she's unable to do what she needs to do because she's a child, and so when her uncle shows up, he's the one that does the job for her. We find out that this world has superheroes, and I'm guessing the superheroes are the people that have power. But then there's also renegades. I was sort of confused. I don't know if renegades are heroes or if they're like anti-heroes. I'm not sure. I don't know. I just know that I think Nova is sort of an anti-hero because her father told her that if they ever needed it, that a hero would show up, and when they were being killed, no one showed up. And so she, I think, has this mentality, rightly so, that she's out to fend for herself. The second chapter goes, I didn't read the second chapter, but I saw just a word that it's like 10 or 8 years later or whatever. I don't know. This one is one that I'm also like, I'm not as intrigued as I was with Scythe, so we'll see if I'm gonna read it. I don't know. And then I have to give you an update on The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea by XTO. So this is sort of a fairy tale in which Mina's people, or like her community, they live by the water and they believe in this sea god. Something must have happened that the god is not pleased with everyone, and so he has wreaked havoc and thrust death upon these people. And basically what they do is every year they throw a bride into the water in hopes that the dragon or the sea god will choose to marry this head bride. I think. I was sort of confused a little bit. But basically, in the beginning of this book, Mina is going with her brother's girlfriend because she's the most beautiful or whatever, so she's the one that's going to be sacrificed. And so her brother, Mina's brother, decides to follow, and Mina knows that he's going to interfere with his sacrifice. And when they get to the water, this dragon sprouts out of nowhere, and when her brother interferes, Mina can see that the dragon's like, not here, and he's about to kill her brother. And so she throws herself in front of her brother and says, take me instead. That's what happens, and the dragon takes her. And so that's the first chapter. I find that I'm interested in this. I want to see what's going to happen, so I don't think I'm going to haul this one. But in this cover, isn't it beautiful? This is the UK cover, I believe, because I got this was a long time ago. I forget where I got it, but anyway, interested. All right, guys, drum roll, please. For which book I picked. I already showed it to you. Well, not that I picked to Unhaul, but that I read. It is Legendborn by Tracy Deonn. After I read the first chapter of this book, I was intrigued because of the way that this book is written, the way that it's dealing with grief. And I picked up this book because everybody and their mother, back when it came out, was raving about this. I did not necessarily pick it up because I thought I was gonna like it, because honestly, I didn't think I was gonna like it because it's based on like King Arthur myth. I'm just not a huge fan. I feel like it's overdone, but this was so dang good and so well done. Our main character, Bree, has just lost her mother. And I'm not gonna give you spoilers, so don't worry about it. But basically, the beginning of this book, Bree has just lost her mother, and she's dealing with the grieving process, dealing with the fact that the last words she said to her mother were said in anger because she wanted to go to this program for gifted people at UNC Chapel Hill, I think it's called, the name of the school. Her mother said no. Like, when she mentioned going to the school, her mother's like, absolutely not. And so that's where we are. And I think Tracy did an amazing job dealing with grief, dealing with losing a parent, especially for someone so young. I think Bree is like 16 in the beginning of this book. That's where we start off the book. And when Bree gets to the school, like one of her first nights there, they go to this party and she sees something weird and she's like, wait a minute, is that a demon? And that's where this book starts. And so Bree thinks that this might be related to her mom's death, and so she goes on to like try to figure out what is happening. I thought that this book is very well done, especially for a YA audience. So basically this is where you get a little bit into spoilers, so if you don't want to be spoiled for this book, then don't watch on. But I'm not gonna spoil like the big events, but I do have to talk a little bit about the magic system, which is something I really enjoyed about this book. And basically Bree finds out that in this school there's this group of people, and they're called the Order. They're like the Knights of the Round Table, or like the descendants of the knights. Each family in this group, they're called Legendborn because they can yield magic. The reason they can is because they're all descendants of the Knights of the Round Table. Bree thinks that this is somehow related to her mother's death because she starts remembering that when her mom died, someone made her forget her memories. So she thinks that the two are related. And so she meets a guy, which is one of her love interests. His name is Nick, and he is the heir to King Arthur. She asks him for help, and they, you know, try to figure out what happened with her mom and all that. That's where this novel goes. There's also another main love interest, which I did see a lot of people didn't enjoy that. I think in this first book, at least, I thought that was really well done because he's not really a love interest. He's just one of those guys that's like the dark, broody guy. He gets in Bree's way and stuff like that because he's trying to protect Nick from Bree, because he knows that Bree is lying about something and he thinks that she's actually a demon. But I digress. I thought that this was really well done. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I liked the politics. I liked the twist. I think this was a very good twist on the King Arthur lore. And I enjoyed the fact that they're related to the knights. All these demons come through or whatever, then the knights, and the power of the knights awakens in them and all that. I thought that the world building of this was really, really good. And the magic system. There's also another magic system. It's called root magic, and Bree finds out that her mom was a practitioner of this type of magic. She hid it from everyone. There are trigger warnings for racism, the R word, and slavery. And I think my opinion is to be taken with a grain of salt, but I think it was really well done. I was really interested in this, and I'm excited to pick up the next book. That's the book that I continued reading for this video. But I also have to tell you guys the book that I'm going to unhaul, or books that I'm going to unhaul from this pile. I'm gonna unhaul Renegades because even though this is YA, and I understand it's not made for me because I am no longer a young adult person, but I thought that it, even though it deals with heavy topics, I thought that the writing is kind of juvenile. So I wasn't interested in this. Like, the story just didn't intrigue me. So I'm gonna unhaul this one. And I'm also going to unhaul this one, which so many people I know love this. Like, I think Elle read this and she really enjoyed it. The first chapter I read of this, I just didn't care. Like, I don't care that all these girls are dying and that this family has this curse or whatever. So I don't know. So I think I'm gonna unhaul this one too because I just don't see myself picking it up because I'm just not interested. The only reason why I'm like hesitant to unhaul it is because, one, it's beautiful because it's the Al Crate edition, and then it has like some stuff that I just never got rid of. The inside is gorgeous. But yeah, I think that I am going to unhaul this. Alright guys, please let me know if you enjoyed this very crazy video. I know there's a lot of different pieces, but yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know in the comments. Let me know if you've read any of the books I've read and what you thought about them. And even if you don't have anything to say, then just leave me an emoji or whatever you want in the comments so that I know you guys are watching. But yeah, I'll talk to you guys on the next one. Goodbye.